Y'all, what's going on, man? It is time to talk about the big game tonight. Ohio State versus Texas, the creme de la creme. We got an instant classic yesterday between Notre Dame and Penn State. I'm excited for this one, man. This should be a good one, a good test on both sides of the ball. Who's going to come out on top? I don't know, man. This is a tough one, man. I'm going Ohio State, but let's break down this matchup. So earlier in the week, I talked about this matchup right here. I'll be brief and quick. If you want to see the full breakdown, go to my other videos on my YouTube or my TikTok. But can they slow down Jeremiah Smith is one of the biggest questions. Now, Texas has a whole bunch of DBs, man, that can get it done, right? We talked about Jahdae Barron, right? They also got Andrew Mukuba, I should say. Forgive me for saying that. Andrew Mukuba, who obviously finished the game with the interception that ended it against Arizona State. And then they obviously got Michael Taft, who's having a spectacular season as well. They got obviously Anthony Hill Jr., who's a versatile kind of Swiss Army knife, can do a little bit of everything at that linebacker role, can rush and blitz, man, can play coverage really well. And then Colin Simmons, the true freshman, is having a great year, man. So they got a lot of horses on the defensive back end. But lately, they've been giving up a lot of points in the last few games, man. So it's going to be important that, and kind of to what, similar to what Joe Klatt said, like, you cannot let Ohio State go up 21-0 in the first quarter, right? You got to keep this at bay, like 14-7, like at most a 7-point lead, maybe at most a 10. You know what I'm saying? You have to stay in the fray and limit them. But I think Texas does have some horses that can make some plays defensively. Now, if you're Ohio State, it starts with Will Howard, right? Will Howard's been having a great playoff run. Since that Michigan game, man, he's completing the balls at an alarming rate, man. He's not turning over the football, man. He's throwing for over 300-plus yards. This team in the playoffs, man, they averaging nearly like 300-plus yards a game, 40 points so far, and over 150 rushing yards. Now, we know how good it could be, right? You got Quinshon Judkins and TreVeyon Henderson, two of the better backs, one of the best dynamic duos at the running back that we have here in the country. Only other one I'll probably match up against them is obviously Nick Singleton and Kaytron Allen. Those are the only guys I match up against, maybe Ohio State with their running game. But can Will Howard outperform Quinn Ewers? Now, a lot of people have come for Quinn Ewers and what he's been able to do this season as far as his turnovers and everything like that. Like I said, 11 interceptions this year. But one thing I did like in that game that he showed me against Arizona State, he can make the clutch throws, the clutch plays late in games, right? Now, they struggled in that game. Previously, if you go back to the Clemson game, they ran for over 220-plus yards, right? In that game against Arizona State, only 50-something yards rushing, right? But he did what he was supposed to do, made the big throws late, right? Obviously to Matthew Golden, Ryan Wingo, obviously Gunnar Helm with that touchdown pass late against Arizona State. He did what he needed to do. If he can do that again, Texas definitely has a shot in this game. But you playing a very elite defense as well. We look at Ohio State since they came back, right? Remember, they were up big time against Oregon, right? They fly to the ball, right? You got Cody Simon. You got obviously Jack Sawyer, who's having a great year so far, a really great defensive lineman / edge rusher. He's been doing really, really good. And obviously Caleb Downs, the All-American, right? Jim Thorpe, finalist. Like, kid is a stud. So he's going to have to protect the football because you know how good that offense is. But if Quinn Ewers can protect the football, they can establish a running game with Jaden Blue and obviously Contravian Wisner. You feel pretty good if you're a Texas fan. And here's their record, obviously, at AT&T Stadium. 2-2 so far. But like I said, that is the key for Texas. So when we break everything down, Texas being able to establish a run, not putting too much pressure on Quinn Ewers, you know what I'm saying? But in the clutch moments, let's say this is a tight game late, 27-24. Quinn Ewers making those throws late in the game, not turning it over, and helping his team secure a victory. That's going to be crucial, you know what I'm saying, if they want to win. And the defense has to force some turnovers and try to slow down that offense, right? You're going to have to get after them how Michigan did, right? Limit the running game, make Will Howard a passer, right? And you might have to roll double coverage to Jeremiah Smith and make somebody else beat you besides him, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate, and several of the other weapons. That's going to be key for them. And as I said, with obviously Quinn Ewers in the last game, 4 touchdowns, over 300-plus yards. It's just what you want to see out of your quarterback. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to need that same type of performance. Now, like I said, if you're Ohio State, this is just what you wanted. You've done what you're supposed to do. As far as in the Big Ten, you got the seed that you got. You beat the #1 team, and now you get a chance to get back to the national championship game, which everybody expected. Like I said, if they did not make a national title game, you thought the season was practically a failure. So they are in the Final Four. I would not say it was a failure if they lost in this game, a close one to Texas. But we know with that roster, with Ryan Day, they got to get to the national title game. You just have to. You don't have a choice. This roster is way too talented. You spent a lot of money to put it together. Some guys, like I said, on that defense, is very experienced and is good because a lot of 3-4-year starters coming back to the fray. You know what I'm saying? A couple transfers here and there that they added and plugged and played in certain pieces and certain spots, right? But for the most part, this team has been playing for a while. Now, obviously, you got a transfer portal quarterback in Will Howard. You know what I'm saying? That came in, that's performed great this season. But this is your year to do it. You know what I'm saying? If you are Ohio State, you know. So Got to go through Texas. A really good, I think, defense. Hasn't played the best over the last little bit, but overall throughout the season, we know how elite it's been. But those are the keys, man. Taking care of the football. If you're Ohio State, letting that offense cook. If they run coverage, you know what I'm saying, to Jeremiah Smith, which I'm sure they will, you got to have your other receivers win, which they're more than capable of doing, and not turning over the football. That's going to be key. And you need your defense to get some takeaways against Texas and force some stops and get you in good field position, man. Special teams also a key point in this game as well to keep an eye on. So, yeah, y'all, that's my thoughts, man. I'm going with Ohio State to beat Texas, but I think this is going to be a really great game. I think it's going to be one of the best ones we've seen in the college football playoff. And like I said, I've loved it so far. I think two elite teams going neck and neck. Again, we have not seen this really in the college football playoff. It's been a lot of blowouts. But this playoff itself, when you look at all the rounds, obviously first round was not great. You know what I'm saying, at all. But you look at quarterfinals, you look at now the semifinals, these games have been good, you know, for the most part. So I'm hoping that it's the same thing. Two teams going neck and neck. Obviously, you see right now ESPN Analytics has Texas winning this game, but I hope it's a great game between two elite teams going neck and neck, and we'll see who comes out on top. But I'll have the full reaction from the game later on tonight.